Alrighty, guys. Good morning to you all here. A happy Sunday, June 8th, 2025. Hope you guys are doing well out there. And we've got a very destructive day and potentially life-threatening day in front of us today for significant severe weather across the state of Oklahoma and Texas, where the threat for even a derecho is on the table. 80 to 100 mile per hour winds, strong to intense tornadoes cannot be ruled out, and extremely large hail in excess of 5 inches in diameter, guys. And I'm not joking when I say that. The Storm Prediction Center very confident in 4-inch to 5-inch diameter hail. That's basically coconuts falling out of the sky at about 100 plus miles per hour. So today is a day you don't want to mess around if you're in the state of Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Fort Worth. Level 3 enhanced risk, moderate risk on the table today. We'll kind of talk about all that here in just a minute. We've also got a sneaky little tornado risk back up here into Virginia and along the Baltimore, Maryland area and up into Delaware and DC. So we're going to be talking about that. But two more things I want to talk about here as well here. And we've got two tropical storms down here in the Pacific Ocean, right on time here for hurricane season, doing what it does best. We've got Tropical Storm Barbara spinning off down here off the coast of Mexico, and now, as of this a few minutes ago, Tropical Depression 3 here, which both of these are forecasted to strengthen over the next couple of days here. We're actually expecting our first hurricane in the Pacific Ocean now going into tonight and tomorrow morning. We could be looking at rapid intensification with our Tropical Storm Barbara down here, expected to become a hurricane later on this afternoon. The good thing is about both of these storms down here in the Pacific, you can see those cones. Both of those are headed out to sea here. They will weaken as they get closer towards like the southern portions of Baja California and then stay out to sea. So we're not expecting any landfall impacts from those over there in Mexico or Baja California, but just something impressive to look at here. I'll show you guys this here briefly. Both of these storms very well organized here. Tropical Storm Barbara expanding out significantly, pressure down to 996 millibars, wind speeds at 60 miles per hour. They're expected to become a hurricane later on this afternoon. And then we've got Tropical Depression 3 here, expected to become a named storm later on by the next couple of days here. And then we've got another area to watch behind this, kind of hidden in the satellite imagery here, another tropical system to watch coming in behind Barbara in the next 7 days. So a very active hurricane season ongoing back into the Pacific Ocean. They typically stay a lot more active than we do, especially early in the season. So the good news is nothing expected in the Caribbean. We do have a low pressure system down here that could develop down here near the southwestern portions of our gyro. Our CAG is what it's known as, the Caribbean here, but nothing expected in the Gulf or in the Atlantic Ocean over the next 7 to 10 days. So we'll keep you guys updated on that if anything changes. Our biggest thing today is going to be the severe weather, and I'm going to break that forecast down for you guys here in just a second. I want to start out by showing you guys what we got ongoing here this morning here. Complex of storms up into the high plains, complex of storms leaving Texas now. Those will start to weaken, and then a big complex of storms back along the East Coast here, where we actually just got a severe thunderstorm watch a few minutes ago here for South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. And then we'll have a couple supercells that could fire off back up here into Maryland, into Delaware, into Virginia as well for a tornado threat, wind threat, and hail threat. So a big day today, guys, of severe weather. And honestly, quite frankly, this could be our biggest severe weather setup so far this year in Texas and Oklahoma in terms of the wind threat. We could be seeing substantial damaging winds, guys. This is a day you need to have alerts on your phones. We're going to be doing wall-to-wall coverage. We're going to be starting stream around 1 o'clock Central Time. We'll be on all afternoon, all evening here, giving y'all alerts, keeping y'all updated, giving y'all everything you need to know to keep yourself safe. But I will advise this now. If you live in an area that is known to see significant damage when you get damaging winds in excess of 70 plus miles per hour, tornadoes and hail, you might want to think about relocating, going somewhere this morning if you're able to get somewhere more sturdier. Mobile homes are going to definitely be an issue being in. Today could definitely be destructive and life-threatening if you are not taking today seriously, and I mean that full-heartedly. You guys know that. I want to go ahead and break down the forecast and what we're going to see here for today. I'll switch over to the Storm Prediction Center website here, and we'll talk about our risk zone here for today. And we do have, as I expected yesterday, a level 4 moderate risk on the table here. This includes Wichita Falls, all of the DFW area, Fort Worth, Dallas, Arlington, Texas, Plano, Garland, a level 4 risk out of 5 for significantly destructive damaging winds in excess of 80 to 100 plus miles per hour. Outside of that, level 3 enhanced risk, Oklahoma City, Woodward, down in towards Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, Wichita Falls, you're still in that moderate risk there. Norman, you're in the enhanced risk there. We've also got in the slight risk here, Kansas City, Missouri, back up into St. Louis, down through Wichita, Kansas, into Arkansas here, Louisiana, Texas, and then another slight risk for our secondary system back up here that extends from Baltimore and Washington, D.C., back through the Carolinas, into Georgia, and into the southeast here. So two different modes we're watching. Today will be, just like I said, very busy today, a very long live stream expected today to keep you guys updated on that. Now, the biggest thing today is going to be damaging winds. We'll talk about the tornado threat and the wind threat here, or the hail threat here in a second, but we do have a 45, 15, and 30% hatched wind threat for today. And what that means, if you are circled, let me get this pulled back up there. There we go. If you are circled in this hatched region, you have a 15, 30, or 45% chance of seeing winds exceed 75 plus miles per hour, pushing up to potentially 100 plus. Now, the biggest thing, guys, not everybody is going to see significant damaging winds. It's a, estimate based off of radius and a location, but there are going to be a lot of people, especially in that moderate risk and enhanced risk, that do see 70 plus mile an hour winds. And especially if you live along the Red River, Dallas, Fort Worth, Wichita Falls, around 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. tonight, we could see a very destructive wind event coming into the area here. You guys are not immune to these storms because you live in big cities. We get these a lot, and when they do happen, they are very, very destructive and cause lots of damage. You can look at previous derecho events in the past couple of years that can kind of give you guys examples of that. But regardless of that, in that hatched region, expecting winds 80 to 100 miles per hour across a broad region. Outside of that, on our 15 and our 5% risk zones there that are not hatched, we can see winds exceed 60 to 70 miles per hour in and around the East Coast and back up into the plains in the Midwest. Now, the biggest thing as well, the hail threat, guys. We have a 30 and 15 hatched hail threat, and I wouldn't be shocked to see SPC introduce a 45% hail threat here just because the hail is going to be huge. We're talking gigantic hail today, 5, maybe potentially higher than that inches in diameter today. I think we're going to be more concentrated, mostly widespread 2 to 3 inch diameter here, but there could be some 4 or 5 inch plus hail totals out there, especially in and around Oklahoma City, where these storms initiate out, where we see supercells fire off at first. It's going to be Woodward, Amarillo, Lubbock, Abilene, and then by the time this line of storms grows upscale, we'll see more of a wind threat, an embedded tornado threat than a hail threat as well. So we've also got a small little 15% hatched hail threat deck down here near the Fort Stockton area for hail exceeding 2 inches in diameter, and then outside of the hatched hail threat, we could see hail exceed 1 to 2 inches in diameter in those risk zones that are in the 5% and in the 15%. So we'll keep you guys updated on that there. We've also got a little interesting tornado threat today. Now, I want to talk about the East Coast first. 2 and 5% tornado risk here for any supercells that fire off later. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Richmond, Virginia Beach. You guys are under the threat with a 5%, 2% tornado risk, so I do expect a couple tornadoes to be possible in that area today, but we do also have a 2% and a 5% tornado risk back in the Midwest, back in the plains, St. Louis, back down to Kansas City, down into Wichita, Shreveport, Louisiana, Arkansas here. Now, I will mention there will more than likely be a 10% hatch tornado risk that gets issued somewhere in Oklahoma and maybe Oklahoma City, moving up towards northern Oklahoma here. There is definitely going to be a corridor where we could see a couple strong and maybe an intense tornado EF3 plus today if storms can stay discreet. We will have enough shear out there. We'll have higher enough tornado parameters. Everything is there today for either a significant damaging wind event, a very destructive hail event, and even a couple tornadoes and maybe even a strong to intense tornado possible on the table here. So the more discreet these storms stay, the better chance that there will be of that. The more linear these storms go, the quicker, the better chance we have of a damaging wind threat unfolding. So just a lot of scenarios at play for today, with us more likely seeing a destructive wind event across the state of Texas and Oklahoma today, more in terms of the DFW, Wichita Falls area, Abilene area is kind of more my pinpointed areas, I would say, opinion-wise, that could see a more localized destructive wind threat. I'll get to the timing on everything here in just a minute. I want to talk about tomorrow briefly. We do have another marginal and a slight risk of severe weather that goes all the way from the plains back down here to the East Coast, up into the Ohio River Valley and into the Northeast here. Tomorrow will be a lower day for severe weather. We do have a 2% tornado risk, 2 areas for 2% potential tomorrow. Back into the Carolinas, back into the Southeast, 2% chance of seeing a tornado within a 25-mile radius of a given point, and then another 2% back up into Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. We will be covering this event tomorrow as well for you guys. Wind threat at 15 and 5%, and hail threat also at 5%. So we start to weaken the severe weather threat pretty significantly as we go into tomorrow. Now we get into Tuesday. As expected, this is a map that I would love to see. Very, very quiet weather across majority of the United States, but there's still being some severe weather along the East Coast and back into the Gulf states and along the Texas-New Mexico line here. We could see some low end severe weather with the wind and the hail threat being at play, and then also a marginal risk back up into the high plains. In this area, we're going to have to watch going into the rest of the month of June here, this 3rd and 4th week of June, for more of an uptick in severe weather, and we'll talk more about that here in the global models here in just a second. But as expected, severe weather will weaken pretty significantly over the next couple of days. Now, another thing I'll show you guys here is going to be the future cast. You're going to see not right now, or a lot right now, not a lot going on. We will see supercells initiate as soon as 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon up in here. I do also want to anticipate there will more than likely be a PDS severe thunderstorm watch that gets issued. That's a particularly dangerous situation watch. It's different than a normal watch. They put those watches out when we are expecting significant and life-threatening severe weather, whether it be in tornado form or destructive wind form or hail form. So there will more than likely be a watch issued for that area of Oklahoma and Texas that see that moderate or enhanced risk potential. But like I said, supercells initiating as soon as 1 to 2 o'clock, and no capped environment. These storms will have full reign of instability, all of that. I'll show that here in just a second. But then around 3, 4 o'clock, these cells really start to mature. Strong to intense winds, as well as destructive hail, and maybe even a strong tornado or two couldn't be ruled out in this area of western Oklahoma and eastern Texas around 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. And then these storms grow upscale, and we get a huge, huge damaging wind event coming into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm telling you guys, if you live in the DFW area today, you need to be hunkered down and ready to go. This could be a very, very brutal wind event for you guys in the DFW area today. I think out of every severe weather event we've had in the chances of seeing in the DFW area, this is the best one so far this year in terms of destructive wind potential. So you guys need to be weather aware. This is going to be coming through your backyard around 9, 10, 11 o'clock tonight. And then eventually, as this continues to progress eastward, we'll see this system progress going through 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning as it starts to weaken, getting into East Texas and eventually Arkansas and Louisiana by 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And after that, we will be watching this thing kind of fall apart through the early morning hours of Monday. And then after that, we'll talk more about tomorrow in tomorrow's video and in the live stream later. Here's some of the instability values we're going to see here. Guys, like I said, just a huge corridor of instability. We could be seeing anywhere of 4,000 to 6,000 joules per kilogram of instability from Oklahoma back down into Texas here. A volatile setup. So instability is not an issue. We're also going to have enough low-level shear as well to help promote tornado genesis. Now, I will mention, once this line of storms does, in fact, get defined, especially as we get closer to 6, 7 o'clock, this will become more of an outflow wind event, meaning we'll see damaging winds, less tornado threats. The tornado threat is going to be mostly localized between about 1 p.m. and I would say 6 p.m. where we have more of a discrete mode, and that's going to be Oklahoma City west over towards the northern Texas panhandle here, where that higher tornado threat will be focused that line. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked to see SPC upgrade to a 10% hatch tornado risk here with a threat for a couple strong tornadoes, and you can see where those higher parameters are shaded at here. And like I said, just going to be a very, very wild day today, guys, in terms of significant severe weather. Here's an idea as well. Updraft helicity tracks, I like to show these when we have an embedded tornado potential, and you can really see where that corridor of those areas of rotation could be at. And that doesn't show this full potential all the time in terms of all of where this is going to be at, but it gives us a better idea of where we could see that updraft helicity, just an idea of where the rotation embedded within these storms could be at. So, like I said, guys, a very, very long day ahead today. You need to be weather aware. Alerts on your phones, alerts on your phones, alerts on your phones. I cannot say that enough. We'll be in full-flown weather coverage today, giving you guys weather updates from start to finish through this whole entire event today. I do want to briefly hit on what we're going to see here over the next couple of days here. Here's our troughing, our 500 millibar jet stream. This is what's causing our severe weather over the next couple of days. We're going to watch this low pressure system up here in Canada eventually as it moves into the United States over on Monday and Tuesday. This could give us a localized wind and some hail maybe across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley going into Monday and Tuesday here. Not anything too significant expected. You can see where our jet stream is also placed at tomorrow to give us a little bit of severe weather back down into Texas. Again, very, very low in threat tomorrow down there. And then as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, we start to see something nice happen. And that is a ridge develop here. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep a lot of severe weather out of here. There still will be a chance of showers and thunderstorms on a daily basis. It's the summertime. We see that happen. But in terms of significant severe weather, I don't expect that being an issue at all. Now, the biggest thing as well, as we go into end of next week and watching into the third week of June, we start to see more troughing happening. We could see some low end severe weather days, maybe down here to the southeast going into the 15th and beyond. It's still way too far out to get uncertain or to get more certain on those details. But I do want to say, I do think significant severe weather could make a return as we go towards the third and maybe even the last week of June, especially if the European model is right here where we have more troughing coming in. The GFS a little bit lesser on that with a more dominating ridge. So a lot of things to figure out over the next couple of days here, and we'll keep you guys updated on that. So that's what I've got for you guys today. We'll have a live stream here in the next 2 hours. We'll be on all day covering ball-to-wall coverage for you guys. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching. Today is a day. Share the video out, guys. Let people know what's going on. It's going to be a very, very long day in terms of severe weather, and if you guys are impacted by these storms or in path of these storms, my prayers and thoughts go out to you guys in advance. We'll keep you guys updated. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys on the live stream.